Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Bidaya Screencast. Today we are discussing lesson 17, which discusses the Alif, Lam. We have the Lam Shamsiya and Lam Qamariya, the lunar and solar Lam. These are names we give to the Lam when it's either pronounced or not pronounced in the beginning of the word. For older students, we will introduce this concept with the phrase that separates the words into the letters that come after the lam and can help us identify it as either lunar or solar. So, ibghi hajjaka wa khaf aqimahu for older students. Each one of these letters, if it comes after the lam, alif lam, we pronounce the lam. And for example, as we've used the same technique before, of the example practice is a sampling of each of the letters. So we have each letter is represented with a word in the practice. And for younger students, we can explain this in a much simpler way, and just if the lam has sukoon, we pronounce it. If you see it, you pronounce it. And if we can zoom in here, when the student comes to read this, as soon as you see this, we say al-ghamami. The reason we delayed lesson 17 until the complementary lessons is because teaching it in the beginning of the book would cause confusion to the student once you introduce two new symbols such as hamza and sukoon. They're very close to each other, and we don't want the student to lose focus. After all, these are all complete words. We are just adding the alif lam, which is the case in the Quran. And something else to take note of is that this lesson reviews all of the previous lessons. It includes alif lam, it includes the sukoon, the different types of alif, waw, ya, it has shadda, and it has the different forms of the letters. We have ta marbuta, we have ta maftuha. Also, once we move down to the end of the page for the solar lam, again, we have a phrase for the older students to memorize if necessary. If not, we can easily recognize the case of the solar lam because it is skipped. It has no sign on top of it, no sukoon, and the letter after has a shadda. So we can explain this with the arrows and X's as we've done before. We have hamzat wasl followed by a lam with no harakat and no sukoon. So we skip and go straight from the first letter to the third letter. So from the hamza to the ta, at-turi. Very simple, inshallah. And as the student gets used to reading the words, it will come very naturally. They won't even need to check the lam and see does it have a sukoon. The students will naturally realize it's easier to read the lunar lam and solar lam just based on experience of reading the words. And take note of the last line, lirrusuli. This is solar lam. It is skipped and followed by a shadda, but it's with two lams, so the student can recognize this case. And it's not only with hamzat wasl, it can also be with two lams, as we see in the Quran. Please refer to the Bidaya workbook and the online resources. We have over 90 words for practice, 45 lunar, 45 solar, that the student can practice reading and writing. And we have the instructor's manual for more tips, objectives, and exceptions if necessary. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.